Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for choosing to stay with us now. Fashion weeks are, more often than not, are all about seasonal collections and identifying which particular areas and their designers. Now, the RVK Fashion Week, on another hand, is all about bringing designers from all over the world to Tshwane to celebrate one of the most iconic eras in fashion. RVK stands for Retro Vintage Kollektion, and the week-long gathering of clothes, style, design and accessories kicked off yesterday at the Ditsong National Museum of Cultural History and promises to excite fashion lovers with a host of designers who include, among others, Chimwemwe from Kenya, Prince from Togo, and with me, Mary Martin London from London, and I'm also joined by one of the organizers, Taylor. Guys, thank you very much for joining us here.
Thank you.
Taylor, talk to me about this RVK idea, because I think this is the beautiful thing about it. It is a very unique fashion event.
RVK is a biannual fashion week that takes place in Tshwane. We came up with the idea because of the youth, you know, those who are not too big enough to go on big platforms.
Yeah.
So we just said, like, okay, we can do something like this to engage the youth, those who are well-talented, who want to show their talent. And then we decided to take it to Tshwane because it's a capital city, and also to expose to the world the beautiful buildings, you know, those historical buildings in Tshwane, yeah.
Mary Martin London from London. Yeah. Talk to me about an idea that is so uniquely different, because when you talk about a collection of this magnitude, designers from all over the world, it does open the mind a little, because we are kind of stuck in what all the fashion events look like at the moment, aren't we?
Well, I think I'm a bit different because I'm from London. Yeah. But recently I did the African Fashion Week in London, in the Olympia, Kensington Olympia. And I did a dress with the inspiration of Cecil the Lion. And it went viral because it was a memorial dress for Cecil the Lion. And I put it on the catwalk, and it was amazing because I did the lion's mane in the tulle, because I do a lot of dresses with the big tulle and flowers. But I usually do the tulle on the bottom of the dress, but I did the tulle on the top, so the dress actually looked like a lion. It was an amazing dress. My collection is more like a fairy tale collection. It's not so much using the African fashion fabric, because I just got a wild imagination. I just do what's in my head, and just really crazy clothes.
Is this your first time showcasing in South Africa?
This is the first time in South Africa. I was in Ghana, the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, 6 weeks ago, and I was honoured as the best designer in Africa. Wow. 2015, but I went to the fashion show last night, and I don't think I deserve that title, but, you know, I'm privileged.
That's such an interesting thing that she's mentioning. I know that we're talking about showcasing other designers, but what is the conversation? Because, you know, design is unique to every designer. Creativity is unique. What is the conversations that we're engaging? It's interesting that you mentioned that there were other great designers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, every designer comes with their own cultural thing they put in. Yeah. So it's something that is unique to every design that comes, and they have their own imagination, and then whatever they put in, like, it goes with whatever they believe in. So
why retro vintage? Why a retro vintage collection?
Retro vintage.
It's original.
It's more of the vintage type, but then we don't really go deep into vintage. It's just something that makes people, because vintage is more like, it makes people feel
sophisticated and sexy. Yeah. But I've actually bought a vintage collection from London. I really did vintage.
How? Let me get part of that conversation, because you brought the vintage collection from London.
I brought the vintage collection from London.
When you do vintage, where do you draw the inspiration from? Is it anything that's older than 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years? Or is it something that you want to say, this is vintage, but it's also fresh?
Well, I think I'm older than 10, 15, 20 years, so I think I've lived through some of these eras.
Iconic eras of fashion.
I feel I'm original because I've done it, I've been there, I've gone through a lot, and I know what's in my head and what I would have made for that time. So I don't really follow the fashion, what's happening now, because I don't think there's any fashion now. People are very bland and following trends and not being creative, maybe like the older designers like Mary Quant, Vivienne Westwood. They just do what's in their head. They just let their creativity flow, and they just love it.
Is there, Mary, can I ask, last time is run up, but it's a quick question. Is there a difference between vintage now and vintage back then? Is vintage in London and vintage in Africa same thing?
Well, I don't think you can compare the African fashion with the London fashion, because African fashion is the centre of it all. Like I always say, if there's no African fashion, the world would be dead. There would be no fashion. In London, the colours were black, brown and white before the black people came over and brought colour into the country.
So we've run out of time, but thank you very much for joining me.
Can I just
That's Mary Martin London from London, and we've got Taylor. Quickly.
Yeah. No, we just wanted to
say thank you to the sponsors, Morningstar Express Hotel, for letting us stay at the hotel and look after all the designers.
Yeah, for the makeup and everything.
That's a wrap from us. We've run out of time.
Thank you.
Bye. Let's go.